Everyone, this is Mr. Hunia. Moving into our design unit today, we're going to be discussing balance, and this is going to be one of the major elements that we're going to wrap up before we jump into talking about color theory, which we will be explaining a lot more and delving more deep into. So with balance, we're going to go ahead, do these notes, and you guys will have a good rest of the day. All right, so first we have symmetrical balance. Now, when you think of symmetrical balance, this is what is known as a mirror image. In other words, if you think about symmetrical, think of symmetry. It is the same on the left as it is on the right if you slice it down the middle. Now, each side of an imaginary line drawn down the center of the wall of the room is the same, just as I said. Same on the right as it is on the left. And this is the easiest balance to create whenever you are designing a room. And this is what is known as formal balance, okay? So it may have chopped off my voice whenever the narration, but I was saying that symmetrical balance is known as formal balance, where now we have asymmetrical balance. Now, if you think of symmetrical balance being the same as on the right as it is on the left, asymmetrical balance is where it's two different things on the right and the left, but they still sort of equal out to each other. So each side of the imaginary line is different. However, this is going to be more interesting because you don't see the right and the left is the same. They're a little bit different. And then this is harder to achieve because you have to think about, once again, as we talked about, the space and the mass of what is taken up. So as you see here, you want to think about the space and the mass. So at the top, we have a more formal balance where it's the same as the right and the left. But here you have informal balance on the bottom. Two different objects, but yet they still hold the same visual weight. And next we have radial balance. Next we have radial balance, which these objects are equally spaced around a center point. So in other words, you think about something being in the center, and everything around it, radial meaning like circle, everything around it is spaced equally from it. So think round, exactly as I. So as you see here, this is going to be the differences. So the first one we have is going to be symmetrical balance, where everything's on the right as it is on the left. Next, we have asymmetrical balance, which everything on the left and the right are different, but yet it still looks pleasing. And then you have radial balance, where if you looked at it from the top down, everything is spaced equally around a center point. So here, once again, you have your formal balance. You see it's the same in the right as it is in the left. Next, you have asymmetrical informal balance. Once again, you have that sense of balance there. If you slice it right down the middle, you still have certain things that take up the space and create that visual appeal. And then you have here, which is very, very unbalanced. Once again, these chairs are way too different. If you slice it down the middle, it doesn't look like it takes up the right amount of visual space. And then, once again, it says it needs too small or too large chairs. Next, we have unbalanced here to where, as you see, if you slice it down the middle, certain things are taking up way too much space. Once again, it's just been thrown together. It just looks like a hot mess. So the thing is, you want to make sure that you achieve that, making sure that certain things take up a certain amount of space and making sure that they are equally balanced from the standpoint of certain things being small, certain things being large, or both of them staying the same on either side. Now, once again, we have the sense of balance. Once again, we're adding certain things into the mix here to where, for example, it's seeming more balanced. It's not all thrown together and everything seems to have its place. So once again, reviewing symmetrical, aka balance. Once again, the same on the right as it is on the left. Once again, the same on the right as it is on the left. So if it does not have that, then obviously we don't have that. Informal, once again, difference. There are different things that are going along here. It is not the same on the right as it is on the left, but it still looks appeasing. Then we have the idea of radial. So once again, a lot of times with radial balance, what you will see is oftentimes there are chairs and tables involved. Typically, the chairs are all the way around the table and that spacing. Once again, oh look, there's chairs and a table. Oh look, chairs and a table. So this is the idea of radial balance, it all being around the standpoint of looking at something and how it all lines up. So at this point, this will conclude your notes. Very easy, very simple, obviously with a lot of different examples here. But tomorrow you guys will be involving yourself in a activity that involves experimenting with different types of